Reg Rubenstein.
Reg Ruben.
Reg Ruben Pie.
Reg Ruben Pie. What's Bueller? He's got a famous Jewish. Yeah. Y'all better start calling me Ruben Ben Stein. Ben Stoy.
Ruben Stein.
Ruben Stoy. No relation to Johnny Santos.
Did y'all order already? I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette.
Oh my God. He smoked like 3 times before the girl even got to the table.
Oh my God.
What was the last one?
Straight whizzed out.
we should review what's that movie like Doc Holliday and the Marlboro Man with Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke.
Yeah. And just whizzes the Marlboro Man. All right.
What y'all talking about Mickey Rourke for? He my hero.
He got into boxing at 45 years old.
Did y'all see The Wrestler? So dope. I didn't understand a word of it, but I thought it was good.
I liked him as Marv. His face looked like mine, all discombobulated.
All right, welcome back to the Into the Nights podcast. I am DJ Villain.
And I am MC Reggie's back, PBK.
The goddamn phone book killer. God damn! And
what you got in there, a dead cat?
Fuck you, asshole. Where is it?
Son of a bitch.
Where are you, Arnie?
Fuck you, asshole.
There he is.
Go. All right.
So, welcome to episode 111.
Woo!
We are talking today about a local thing here in the Midwest. Does this venture out of the Northwest or I'm sorry, Northeast?
Northeast, no.
No. Yeah, it's strictly here in the Midwest. It is the Horror Hound Convention. We saw it here in the Necropolis at the Springdale Convention Center.
Yeah, no, Sharonville.
Sharonville.
They
Sorry.
call it that, but I'm pretty sure the zip code is Springdale.
It's one of those tomato things, to be honest with you. But either way.
I never asked you. So when I lived back east, I got into the magazine probably maybe like when all these quote-unquote good, I don't know. I feel ambivalent about it now, but like when Fright Night remake, which is what, like 2010, Thing prequel, 2011, the My Bloody Valentine, the Jason one, those are all like 09.
It's all like 08 to like
08 to like 2012, right. The Nightmare one with Jackie Earle Haley. Right. So I probably got into it
right around that time.
I got into that magazine. I started collecting it like ravenously from Barnes & Noble when Barnes & Noble was still a thing. And it was a bi-monthly magazine, so like it's the January, February issue would have something like like the Thing prequel remake with Mary Elizabeth Stewart Masterson. Say that 50 times fast. Oh no, that's
Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
There's another Stewart Masterson. Isn't that do you want to fuck me, Tony?
I don't know that.
Her name's like Mary Elizabeth.
I don't know the name well enough.
Mastromo or something.
But I know who you're
talking
talking
Gina
about.
from Scarface, and she was in The Abyss with
She's
that
also
heiress.
in Robin
Consenting Adults. Oh shit, she was. She was Guinevere, right?
Maid Marian.
Maid Marian.
Yeah.
That's King Arthur Guinevere. Wrong myth.
I would die for you.
Shout out to Bryan Adams for no reason. Woo! And shout out to Karate Kid Part 2 I just saw recently on Pluto TV with the illest song ever. Peter Cetera, I think his name is. I am the whiz who will fight for your honor. I don't know. So anyway, so I got heavy into the magazine, and because at that time DVD and Blu-rays were being released.
My
friend. Of all the shit that we love, so like Reanimator, Blu-ray, and all that stuff.
That's right.
So
yeah.
they do all these like horror, The Howling. They do like a retrospective. So
it's a decent magazine. It's mostly online now for the most part. I don't know if they still. They probably can still get physical issues, but yeah.
That whole tirade, just to ask you, is that from Necropolis as well, or is that a Cleveland-based?
I don't believe that is a Cincinnati thing. I think that is.
But
it might be
they
Cleveland.
hold it in Cincinnati.
They also hold it in Indianapolis
religiously.
and
Kentucky,
Lexington.
yeah.
So I mean, it's this.
I think it's tri-state.
It's a tri-state thing. It's got to be somewhere within. I think you might be right though. I think it might be closer to.
It's got to be Cleveland. I don't think Columbus would have anything like that.
Perhaps. I don't know. I haven't looked into it enough because my experience with it, although I knew of the magazine and read it from here and there, my experience was in 2016. I had a friend who took me to the first Horror Hound I went to, and I have gone every year since, at least that it's been open. Shout out to COVID. And I've never really been a convention kind of guy. Mainly because there was nothing that I liked enough at like the Comic-Con kind of stuff to nerd out that much.
Sure.
But me being the person I am, we being the people that we are, this is right up our alley, and I can talk horror all day with the best of them, and this is basically what that is. It's a place to go meet and greet with other horror hounds such as ourselves, and it's got your typical convention fare. They've got celebrities with autograph and photo ops. You've got artists and people like creators, craftsmen that are selling everything from comics to posters to T-shirts,
refrigerator magnets. I saw a lot of toys, crazy
toys
collectible
everywhere.
Toys.
Yeah. Shout out to the guy who does the bootleg DVDs and Blu-rays, which we don't know his name, and he wasn't even there this past year, unfortunately. But he does all kinds of stuff. But like you were looking for your Dungeons and Dragons season.
I was
1, 2, and 3 from the old show, the animated one.
Wow, it was the complete box set.
Yeah.
And did you see that?
Well, I know he has stuff like that.
Okay.
There was Toxic Avengers. Or Toxic Crusaders.
He had
and like Biker Mice from Mars, Street Sharks.
So probably Trauma didn't
Double
have
Dragon.
Toxic,
all these like really shitty cartoons from the late
90s.
Early 90s and late 80s.
Cowboys of Moo Mesa.
And no one's going to bother to do any kind of release.
A proper release, right.
And he was able to.
So he's straight ripping them.
Rips them to, I believe, Blu-rays for some of them.
Fuck yeah.
And he's got very minimal features, but at least you've got it if you want it. So that's always dope.
About that, I would say if you can't, I remember when Thundercats came out, official DVD copies, Hot Topic of all places had them, and this is a total fucking, I don't know who, Marvel probably owns them now, but this was such like a cunting cash grab. It'd be like Season 1, Volume 1, maybe like 3 episodes on a disc.
Right, yeah.
You know how many episodes? Thundercats? 165 episodes.
Wow.
In like 4 years.
So you're talking
$500.
Multiple discs
Yeah.
across, 6 seasons maybe?
Even, I feel like Transformers had over 100 episodes as well, including the movies.
A lot of those shows from when we were kids would be
weekly,
30 to 50
dude.
episodes.
Yeah,
Some
weekly.
of them. Yeah, weekly.
A season now on streaming is like 12 episodes. Stranger Things. Creepshow was 6 technically with them split up.
It's over in 3 months. When we were kids, that shit had to go from October all the way to fucking April.
And things like Family Matters, Perfect Strangers. You literally it was like the week you went back to school.
Right.
It's like all this TGIF stuff debuted. And dude, that shit was ending in May.
Yeah.
And it was a weekly episode. And for some of these cartoons, I remember even like the Batman the Animated Series, that was daily.
That was daily. You're absolutely right. Daily. 3 seasons I've been watching on HBO Max.
So what is that? Maybe like 50.
I think season 1 is like 28 to 30.
Well, I was gonna say yeah. Like I think like 30, 52 weeks.
But those also that was 30. Like a pickup. Season 2 is they just keep rolling.
Right.
Don't stop.
The first Gargoyles had an infinite amount of episodes, and then unfortunately,
XMen the animated series. Spider-Man. They were churning those fucking out.
There's a point of XMen when Corsair, right, the Space Knight or whatever, they kind of do this I'm Cyclops' dad.
Yeah,
we know that Cyclops and
shout out to the Starjammers.
Right, we know Cyclops and Jean Grey are the parents of Cable. That storyline, I didn't know from the comic at all. So
I didn't either.
So it's Corsair, the Starjammers, and he's got that green, creature from the Black Lagoon guy. That's one of his shipmates or something.
Correct. He's all bulked out.
Yeah, and
Hulk,
exactly. And
Hulk from the Black Lagoon.
And he's got Abomination blue tighties on. But that I might have been in 10th grade, and I stopped watching it, like if you remember, here's an old school blast from the past for those who remember. I remember Fox doing like a Friday night, like new kid corner or something like that, and they premiered the first episode of season 2 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with Zed as the villain, because that was shot here in America.
That's when they
didn't use the Japanese Rita Repulso things.
Here,
And then the Lady Deathstrike episode of X-Men, like season 2 or 3.
Shout out to, what is it?
Lady
Mariko?
Mariko, yeah, or Yuriko. And
Yuriko, that's right, yeah.
And the design was kind of cheesy, right? Because she had like dreads or something. But anyway,
she was part of the Reaper or Reavers, and they were all cybernetics.
Right. She had the circuitry in her hands. But that was like new to me then. Years later, I looked it up. And the X-Men, I'm talking the OG, the only one, the ding that went on to like 98 or something.
It's 5 seasons. The 5th season is only 6 episodes, and it sucks.
Wow.
Because they took the budget right out of it.
Well,
and
as
you
they
tell,
do with all
episode
of them.
1, you can tell like this isn't the same show. This is written and drawn by different people.
Yeah.
And it shows. So
I would say those first 4 seasons.
Okay,
yeah.
So I think it would be 93 to 97.
Fair enough. Yeah.
As we speak, they are making what is called XMen 97. It's a new show that picks up exactly where that one left off.
I remember the other one, Spider-Man Radio. Shout out to 90s cartoon theme songs there.
Anyway, let's get back to Horror Hound.
Sure.
So, we got there. We went, or you went 2 days. I went 1 day.
Yeah, I went Friday
it's
night.
Busy as all fucking hell. This is post-COVID we're talking about right now.
We had it in September, but I think most people still didn't
It's fucking
go.
snowing at the end of March. It's fucking, ugh.
It was
miserable outside.
It was blustery. It was windy as all hell.
Sharonville Convention Center is right next to the highway, so it's windy as all fucking hell.
It was nipple cutting glass, bro.
Ugh. With that being said, they do a pretty good job. I mean, get there early. Don't be one of these dickheads that waits till fucking 12:30, 12:45, and the line around to get in is like an hour long because they're checking people in.
We would have been trapped, freezing our ass off.
Yeah. So get there early just so you can get in. And I mean,
relatively cheap, right? We bought them online.
25 online, $27.50 with fees, 30 at the door, or maybe 35 depending.
Yeah.
And fairly well done as far as like a convention expo and all that stuff.
I don't think there's any smooth way to do something like that.
My biggest gripe off the bat is that it's HK'd the fuck out. And
Hamiltuckian.
Maybe I don't know the proper etiquette, but my goal when I go to these places and there's people everywhere, I go down the right-hand side of everything. And
because we're in America.
Because we're in America, and I just keep making a right. I will eventually get to everything, but I just keep going down that route. Apparently, other people don't do that.
Oh, you're talking about the vendor room.
Yeah. In the vendor room, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot to see, and there's a lot of people, and sometimes you get up to a booth, and there's like a wait, and you can see there's like a buildup of people.
Sure.
And it's like, well, maybe I'll just mark this and come back.
Yeah.
But like, there's people darting across the aisleways and shit, and
it's just people that
becomes a clusterfuck.
Look, I'm a proud parent myself, but there was, you know how many strollers?
Oh my god!
Get a fucking babysitter.
Jesus Christ!
Dual strollers,
and they're not being like mindful of it. No. They're just in the middle of the fucking road trying to like get something out of the stroller.
They're being 370 plus pounds with a dual stroller. Like, oh baby, look at that right there.
Hold on, let me get the Sunny D out the bag real quick.
The mom bag.
Can you fucking move out of the way? We're trying to get through here.
I'm walking here. You know?
And so that's one of my biggest gripes right there. Yeah. It could be a little more better facilitated, especially, so you, me, and Jess are wearing masks because I just, beyond COVID, I don't want to just get sick.
A cold, yeah.
But there's just people everywhere rubbing ass to elbow.
Hacking up a lung, coughing.
I can't stand some of these people that want to sit there for an hour and a half looking at shit, and it's like, come on, dude.
Make a purchase
or move on.
Yeah.
Quit hogging the vendor's time. I want to ask him a question too.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There's just
there's
a lot of HKs and GBLs.
I would say just
the etiquette needs to be presented a little bit
across the globe for concerts,
restaurants,
everything. This however you feel about the mask thing and COVID whatnot, I mean, really, this is just this is like a reset for like manners. And
correct.
Later, we'll talk more in depth about this. But when I was talking to Michael Gornick,
shout out to Creepshow.
I noticed there were like 4 fatties behind me,
mouth breathing,
scissoring each other, and I was like, "Well, all right, Mr. Gornick, I've taken up enough from your time.
Exactly.
Thank you. Here's our card. Please.
We appreciate your time.
Yeah, and that was it.
Quick photo, quick autograph.
But some other people, and I could talk for hours about this. Like I said, and I, obviously I love breaking balls, but fundamentally I get it because there's just some people that that without this stuff they have no fucking identity
at all,
and they're lost. So you want to talk about makings of a stalker?
And this isn't specific to Horror Hound either. This is other cons,
pro wrestling,
like you said, music concerts and venues.
Yeah,
the people that are like, they kind of, I don't want to say ruin it for everybody else, but their
energy is so intense.
Yes, they have an intense vibe, an intense energy that puts you off.
And it just off-puts everything. Yeah. And I mean, look, and
we're not talking about like people who come in costume, because I understand there's a funness to that. We're talking about like the people that are breathing down Tony Todd's neck and getting real weird with Nev Campbell, and the people that you're like, you need another outlet. This can't be it.
Right. So, I want to say this for all the fans. This podcast is for us, by us.
Correct.
But let's be honest here. You and I, we're over 30 already.
Yeah.
Whatever I could say about my parents, they did the best that they could, and I'm just very good at reading. In Japan, we call it kuki o yomeru, which means kuki is air, not cookie, and yomimasu is to read. So reading the air, reading a room.
Exactly.
And none of these people know how to do that.
At all.
So I can only feel so bad for like an Adrienne Barbeau, a Tony Todd, a Nev Campbell. I had a bad experience with Ted Raimi, which I'll talk about later, where maybe it's not their intention to be a dick,
but they've been through it all
other
day.
People just like, so in
when you were playing against opposite Xena, what was it like? Did you ever rub up against her?
So Tony, when you're doing the voice of Scareglow, did you ever try out for the voice of He-Man? And I mean, these actors and actresses must themselves ask themselves, like, is this all you fucking obsess about? Yeah. From September to...
Bring a fun anecdote, ask a quick question, say thank you for everything, and move on.
Yeah.
Quit fucking latching on. And this is why they are like, God, I hate these creepos.
It's like the close talker, the close handshaker. They do it to these people, and
you can see it on their face. They're like, these are the ones who are ruining it. Because then the worst is when you're next in line behind them, and you're like, you know what, man? I'm just going to keep this real brief because I saw you going through it, man.
Swamp Thing, dope. Loved you. Just tell Cody Billy. Peace.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm out.
Peace.
And that's it. Yeah.
Keep it real with them.
Yeah.
Those are my 2 biggest gripes, because other than that, it's dope. I mean, here in the Villain's Lair studio, I've got almost all my art is either from Horror Hound or like going 50% off day after Halloween at Halloween Express.
Yeah, shout out to Halloween Express.
But yeah, so shout out to, I want you to tell me a little bit about this, because this was more your area than mine. Adrienne Barbeau, Nev Campbell, Tony Todd, Ted Raimi, Michael Gornick, and are we missing anybody else that we...
No.
Mainly you stopped by and saw? I think that's
I saw I don't think he's all that, but I'll give props to Matthew Lillard.
This year the whole Scream crew was there promoting the new Scream movie.
The new Scream for me. Yeah. So just a little background, like I said, I'm originally from New York, New Jersey. So I'm familiar with Chiller Theater, which is always somewhere in Jersey, like Piscataway, or it used to be in the Meadowlands, like East Rutherford. The hotel's there by Giant Stadium. And there might have been something else that I saw other than Chiller. And anyway, the last one I'd been to was in 2010. 2010, I believe, and I had a great experience with Olivia Diabo, aka Diablo, I call her, aka the princess from Conan the Destroyer.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Kevin Arnold's sister in the Wonder Years.
Correct. Yes.
And you watch that,
Yeah.
crazy. Growing up, you see that, and you're like, oh, this is Karen Arnold, or I think it was Karen or Kristen or whatever. Olivia's actually British, so she does a great accent. I had no idea. She did the voice of a couple of the DC direct-to-video animated for Wonder Woman or Supergirl. Right. She's a singer-songwriter, and I don't know what else she did. But anyway, shout out, she's still a hottie.
So hard.
Exactly. And then Lou Ferrigno, oh God, it was awful. But anyway, so we've come a long way from 2010
let's talk about
to
that.
now.
Let's get the bat out of the way. So Ted Raimi, talk to me about it. So Ted Raimi, Sam Raimi's
younger brother.
He's the grandma in Evil Dead.
He's dead grandma in the fruit cellar. Evil Dead. He was the guy in the suit.
He's J. Jonah Jameson's lackey in the Raimi Spider-Man films.
Yeah, he was Joxer in Xena, Warrior Princess,
as well as I think he may have made an appearance in Hercules.
Yeah, sure, like a crossover. Because Bruce Campbell plays Autolycus,
right, and he's like the connection.
And they both switch to and from both universes, bit role actor, but steady working, and I mean, look, still a cool guy. He was the 1950s boyfriend who calls out Candyman, in the first original Candyman.
Yeah,
who gets killed. He plays a lackey that gets his head burst through a manhole cover in Darkman.
Right.
By
Liam Neeson.
Thank you. Yeah, and this is when like Liam's got like half the bandages on his face, and he's like, I know you won't lie to me. And he's very fire marshal built out. It's pretty scary. Yeah. And it's just like a rubber dummy head. It gets splattered off. And then here's the thing. My thing with meeting these celebs is asking them like real deep cut questions. He's in a blink and you miss it bit part in a 1993 Dan Van film called Hard Target. Right?
So hard.
Or Hard Target, where Van Damme plays, what was it? My name is Chance Boudreaux.
Yes.
Why'd your mama call you Chance? Because my mama took one. He plays this merchant marine guy. This is so bootleg, this plot, like to you got to pay your dues, Boudreaux, or else you're not going to get on the next ship. He takes on this bounty hunter mission by the girl who plays Witchblade, Yancey Butler, on the USA show. To find her grandpa, Wilfred Brimley, rest in peace, diabetes. And Lance Henriksen is the villain, and they're this gang of guys that hunt homeless people in New Orleans, Louisiana, similar to Surviving the Game with Ice-T, Gary Busey, and Rutger Hauer,
which
like
is
8 months later.
Most dangerous game.
Yeah.
Anyway,
dangerous game. Anyway,
Ted Raimi.
So Ted Raimi,
bit part.
This black guy this homeless guy that they're hunting in the beginning to illuminate the plot of the film.
Right.
He's in like the French Quarter or something, and Ted Raimi just plays like passerby number 2, and he's like, help, help. And these guys are on motorcycles with Uzis like chasing. He's like, help me. And Ted, brilliantly, he's like, leave me alone. I ain't got no change, man. He says it what we would say outside of the pizzeria. Anyway, so I ask him about it. Fuck it. I don't give a shit. I pay the $40 for the fucking selfie, all right? Which
steep.
We've come a long way from $20 an autograph and then a free picture from the last decade. And he greets me and he says, he kind of like prompts me to hurry up. And he's like, hey, how you doing? Hey, Ted. Pretty tall guy. I put my arm around him and I'm asking him about that scene. I said, hey, Hard Target, 93. I ain't got no change line. Was that... And he just taps me on the shoulder and he just points at the camera and he's like, I think we need, basically shut up and take the picture. And I said, yeah. So about that line, and just shakes my hand. He says, nice to meet you, and just totally blew me off. No one in front of me, no one behind me, and you know what? Maybe everybody's got a bad day. Maybe that was Sunday.
It's one of two things, man. It's what we just talked about. Yeah. He had a bad day, or a bad 2 days. Too many of the HKs coming up and bullshitting, or
a girl that I met
want to be there.
A girl that I met said he can't. Like he did his photo op thing, and then he didn't go back up to the vendor hall, and he
Oh.
left early. So, and that was the rumor with many people, including Adrienne Barbeau, that she was planning on leaving early, and I was lucky to catch Tony when I
Right.
did.
You were like one of the last people.
right. They closed his line like at 1. And,
Yeah.
and we were literally there at noon sharp. So
And it didn't even open until like early access was
yeah.
11:45 or something.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
he was only there for an hour and 15.
So Ted was a bad one, but everyone else was a total sweetheart.
Shout out to Michael Gornick. We chatted him up for a
yeah.
while. He had great stories to tell us, talking about
Shout out
working
to
on the
Pennsylvania.
airbase.
Yeah, he's an Air Force veteran. Shout out to my friend Jimmy Ferrari, and from the Brooklyn Blast Furnace. And so Air Force veteran, and he said once he got out of the service, I think he went in as a military photographer, and he somehow I guess at that time pre-internet, word of mouth, like, hey, they're shooting a film in
That's right, yeah.
Monroeville Mall.
Right.
He's like, what film? He's like, Dawn of the Dead. And he was like, all right. He's like, I live in Everett City or something, which is an hour away. So he goes to Monroeville and
Hooks up with Romero.
befriends Romero. Romero, as I mind you, I'm paraphrasing, but this is the story he told us. Romero says, hey, I got a lot of commercials to shoot as well. Take care of these commercials for me.
Right.
I got Dawn of the Dead to worry about. And he became boys with him. And later on, I don't know if he worked on Dawn. I'd love to ask him about it. But incidentally, he ended up becoming the director of photography for Creepshow 1 and then just the straight-up director for Part 2.
For Part 2, yeah.
So shout out to PA. Shout out to Pittsburgh. Shout out to they're doing the whole 1990 Night of the Living Dead remake.
Yes,
in
the
September.
The panel in
The panel
September.
with
yeah.
Patricia Tallman, Tony Todd again, Savini.
Great remake. by the
Bodo
way.
Zombie. Yeah,
Great
yeah,
remake.
Yeah. So
He
was
shout
good.
Shout out to Gornick. Yeah, he was great. He
Michael,
was
Mr.
definitely
Gornick,
interested
yeah.
to keep talking with us. We didn't
He
want to
was
take up
real.
too much
He was
of
a
his
real
time.
dude. Yeah.
We definitely we hooked him up with the money for the autograph and the picture, which we had no intention of doing, I guess, originally. But you
I
know,
talked to him for about 10 minutes first before I then said, "Can I buy
Yeah.
something from you?" And he was like,
because
sure.
I love that, especially so. You know, there's definitely something to meet in your stars, and like they say, never meet your heroes. Sometimes you can be disappointed.
Sure.
I love talking about the people who are behind the scenes because
Very important. Yeah.
they're very, very important. And you know, for Gornick, who fucking, you know, when you're playing director, I mean, this is basically your movie, and everybody else is a part of it. So
Yeah.
I love being able
Yeah.
to deep dive
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said Tony Todd was great.
Yeah, he was. He was probably the best. Tony is
Such a character. He's great.
I think I was doing. No one can see me, but even like sitting down, he's got the
Doing
Candyman thing.
like the evil villain. Like yes.
Yeah, he's
Mwah,
he's intertwining his
Mr.
fingers.
Mr. Burns. Excellent.
Yeah, he's totally doing a Mr. Burns, and he's kind of got this off kind of like color, like smile. And I mean that voice, like Daniel Robitaille, and he's like, "Hello, how are you?"
To the flesh.
Like, be my victim. And he was dope. I think he had an ascot on for no reason.
Yeah, he
and
had
a
like
Kobe Bryant
and a Kobe
jersey.
Bryant jersey.
And he was in like swish pants and Adidas, and he didn't give a shit.
Tall
and
as fuck.
sitting down, he's like 6 foot.
Yeah.
So, but he asked me about my family. He asked me about my kids. He was like, where your kids at? And I was like, oh, Japan. And he goes, so let me guess, you're separated. And, and I'm like, wow,
That's perfect. You
Yeah,
did that
and I mean,
perfectly.
and I see all these people in back of me. He's like, so why is that now? You know, like separated. Yes, Tony. Unfortunately, why is that now? You know, like be my victim. You know, and I'm like, dude, you're creeping me out.
Coming for everyone.
Yeah, that's right. My sweets to the sweet. Yeah. So, I would love to have coffee with that. I pay like what are those things called? The meet and greets.
Cameo or whatever.
No, I'm saying like, so when you go see Metallica, you could meet the band beforehand and they'll
Oh,
sign
yeah.
I think it's like $500. I totally pay
It's like a VIP thing.
half a grand. Yeah. But anyway, he the best audible of the day was I don't know if this is not too much information, Mr. Todd, but he's like, my girlfriend's Korean. He's like, yeah, they know how to treat a brother. So, yeah. So I was like, yeah. Shout out to Yellow Fever as well. But I asked him, once again, deep cut questions. I asked him if he'd ever met Eazy-E on the set of Colors,
Right.
which is a 1988 Rob Duvall, Sean Penn deep cut about the Rampart LA crash,
Correct.
like gang squad. There is a scene in the prison where it looks like there's a guy on top with that famous Compton black hat in Old English font and glasses. It looks like him. Tony plays a veteran, and he's credited as just a veteran in that film. And then I asked him about his as Sergeant Warren in 1986, Oliver Stone classic Platoon. And he spoke about people like Johnny Depp, Keith David. He was like, yeah, they're all my friends. They're all my homies. Like,
That's dope.
Yeah.
I didn't know he hung out with Keith David.
And I asked him about Corey
Shout
Glover,
out to Spawn.
who is the, I know it's pretty, but I didn't take it out for air. I asked him about Corey Glover, the singer of Living Color.
Right.
And
Cultured personality.
and if you watch the special edition DVD Redux, or it was on a podcast, and Corey kind of laments not sticking with the acting thing because it was either acting
It was either one
or
or the
Living
other,
Color, yeah. And so he was kind of like, fuck the acting. He's like, I got this band that I'm blowing up with, and Tony approved, and he said, yeah. He's like, well, look how big they became. So anyway, Tony, we love you. You were awesome. I'll spend any amount of money on you. I mean, he was the most candid. He didn't rush anybody. He maybe like 3 minutes into it, he's like, so what are we getting now? You know, he wasn't. I'm not gonna name other people that I heard, like very famous other people.
Yeah,
but
we'll
just
keep
like,
those names under wraps.
yeah.
But they
was like, yeah.
we
Give me the
know.
money, the picture, and then peace out.
Yeah. Which is bullshit.
So then, so Nev, I'll keep that very brief. I paid.
So yeah, she's. Let's just call it what
She's
it is.
a mega
as
star.
far as
Horror.
as far as horror at this convention, the top billed people. I'm doing finger quotes here. It's
Scream
basically the
people.
Scream cast.
Yeah.
I mean, you got
They filled up the entire
Skeet
convention
Ulrich,
center.
Matthew Lillard, Nev
Jamie
Campbell,
Kennedy.
Yeah. And we understand it's a rushed thing. We understand a lot of people want to see them.
Yeah.
But I mean, take it away, PBK. How did that go with your photo op with Nev Campbell?
So for those who don't know, like I said, I'm coming from the school of waiting on the line for a personal item to be autographed and then taking the picture with them with your phone for free afterwards.
Correct.
It's not like that anymore. You either pay for the selfie or the autograph, or you get the combo. In many cases, it's like 40 and 40 or 40 and 60. The combo is $20 off.
Right.
Like for Tony, it was that. Anyway, so with the photo op, it is and I mean, ultimately, once again, I thank you for booking the stuff for me. But when I thought photo op, I thought, yeah, just a phone selfie as well, just to pay for that slot of time. But no, this is a professional, like Sears, JCPenney portrait studio. You get a professional 8x10 that's printed out like hot jet ink,
Right there on
right
on
out of
site.
it. You buy the $5 protector for it. They've got the 2 flash bulbs with the like umbrellas around it. And so for Scream, they corral you up in all these lines. I was on line lucky number 13. You leave your items on a table, and you know it's curtained off, and they're like, all right, follow the yellow brick road, as they call it, and
Taped yellow line.
yeah, it's a taped yellow line, and okay, next person. They kind of have this recreation of a suburban house
With your boy Ghostface.
with Ghostface, a guy that's dressed as Ghostface from Scream, and Nev was there, and it's a big deal. Like, you have to go in. I'm boring a hole through her temple, like with my eyes, but then they're like, "Hey," and so you smile, and that was
Say cheese.
it was great to just put my arms around her, and I couldn't get anything out of my mouth except for, "Love doing craft and wild things," and she said, "Oh, thank you," and then that's
Next.
and then I had to take it twice more because in one I blinked and the other one it was too blurry or something, and so I got to kind of have a cool moment with her saying, I'm not fucking this up on purpose, just to be with you more. And so then on Sunday when we all went as a trio, I could get like Tony, Adrienne, and Gornick, or I could waste the whole afternoon with her, so
Sitting in line.
yeah. So, and then lastly, Adrienne Barbeau, one of the best.
She's great.
Very for very lovely woman for her age. We got Creep Show. Just Tell to Call You Billy. That's my favorite role she's ever done. She plays Alice Cable in Swamp Thing, which we just saw. Shout out to Craven. She is in
Escape from New York.
And The Fog, which would have been her debut as a screen queen.
Also John Carpenter
ex-wife.
And his ex-wife.
And when you watch her, right, villain, you get this like New York tough chick accent.
Very
like,
tough chick, yeah.
In Cable, in Swamp Thing, Cable is kind of like, where's the closest place to eat around here? You know, as you guys says DC. And then with Billy, like, whatever that etiquette crotch's name is. Wilma was your name? Just call me Billy. Everybody else does. But in real life, she kind of has this Texan Southern Belle accent.
Right, yeah, I remember you saying that.
And as Selena Kyle from the Kevin Conroy classic Batman animated series, as Catwoman, that doesn't come across either.
At all.
You know, she's got a great voice for that.
She's got a great voice. It's very smooth, very classy sounding.
It's very cosmopolitan.
Very cosmopolitan.
But her real speaking voice was more akin to Miss Parmalee in the Gray Matter episode.
Right, yeah.
And total nerd moment here, air quotes. I said, can we expect you, Adrienne, to do a little more saucy, a little more bitchy roles like Billy, with the success of the Creep Show, shout out to Creep Show series on Shudder. I would like to see you in more of a Billy-esque type of role. And she was like, well, if they want to bring me back, I'll do it. And I muttered the classic line, you're a real barnyard exhibit, aren't you, Henry? Sheep's eyes, chicken guts, piggy friends. And she finished it, and she goes, and shit for brains. So, Adrienne, we love you. You are so awesome.
Wonderful.
Thank you for that. And I got to say, if any celebrities are listening, I know it's exhausting.
Of course, yeah.
I know the HKs can ruin your day.
We can put ourselves in your shoes.
We can vouch for you.
And we feel for you.
But I cannot stress the importance enough. Like, when you have a bad day, that might just be a bad day for you as the celeb.
Correct. But
this Ted Raimi thing, I'm sorry, it's going to live with me for the rest of my life.
Can ruin your week, your month, your year, or it might leave a
It'll hurt the celeb's wallet.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a piece of shit. I'm a nobody. I'm navalent.
We're nobodies, down
We're
here.
nobodies, but we are paying fans. And,
correct.
Come on. Right?
You're absolutely right.
Metallica, they're the biggest band in the world. They are still nothing without the
their
fans.
Yeah. Don't ever turn on the people who keep you in business.
That's advice for you, Will Smith.
But like we said, there's plenty of good things there. Real quick, I just want to shout out to the vendor hall because
Let's do it.
I mean,
shout out to Synapse.
Shout out Synapse.
Trauma.
Shout out to Trauma. Shout out to
the Magnet guy.
The Magnet. Yeah. So it's another thing. I forgot to get a lot of cards. I gave out plenty of cards of ours, but we didn't get very many of them back. I think a lot of them also were just like, I'm out because
Jess said one guy was the Magnet guy, the guy that knew us.
No, so I completely forgot this guy's name.
Him.
We got his artwork up, and he claims that he saw our podcast come across his.
Judy
wavelength.
Aronson, where are you?
Judy Aronson.
I DM'd you. Come on.
Shout out to Judy Aronson.
Yep. She's gonna do something Dudikoff Fest in Indianapolis.
Yeah. Shout out to American Ninja, which was a couple episodes before this.
Yeah.
But everybody at Horror Hound, keep doing what you're doing. We obviously love the T-shirts.
Severin Films was there.
Severin Films was there as well.
The tattoo artists.
There was some
HK tattoo.
There was some people, a bunch of girls trying to get Jess to come take some cosplay pictures or something.
Oh shit! Really?
They were right down the aisle with all of the celebrities, and there's just all these. Some of them hot, some not so much. Kind of chicks dressed up, just like dead nurses, and trying to be real sexy. And
how much did they weigh? You got canceled.
Well, some of it's cool, but like quit coming up to girls and being like, you should take nude photos. Like,
Oh, is that what it was?
Not necessarily, but that's what the girl said. She was like, we do everything from full nude to clothes to whatever, cosplay, blah, blah, blah. She come up. They're somewhere in like Miamisburg or some shit, dating, whatever.
Oh.
But I don't want to talk too much about that because that was a footnote. But I just thought it was kind of funny because Jess was like, I'm good.
They're called something like the Fright something.
It's like
based in
like
Dayton or something.
Suicide
Girls Part 5. Burning Angel.
Yeah. But yeah, shout out to all the vendors, a lot of the artists. There's so many cool people there that we forgot to mention that we see you out there, and we appreciate you. Some of us.
Shout out to Synapse, Jerry, and the other gentleman that I met from Synapse, who we
they
talked a bit about the Nikatsu film.
Yeah,
so we'll be hitting those guys
Talked to that
up.
one guy about Big Trouble in China for like 5 minutes.
Oh, word?
He was, guy from
Shout out to
Synapse.
Lopan.
Yeah,
he was into
nice
it. Yeah,
guys.
he was the one that recommended Okatsu something like
Yeah.
Lady Devil Woman something, and I picked it up and I haven't seen it yet, but yeah, shout out to Synapse, formerly out of Romulus, Michigan. I don't know where they are now, but they're the ones that I purchased Frankenhooker and Street Trash.
Shout out to Frankenhooker.
A special meltdown edition. Shout out to Frankenhooker. I want to interview the lady who plays Frankenhooker.
Oh, wait.
But all in all,
it was a good time.
It was a good toe dip back into the con game.
It's a good 3. You can spend about 3.5, 4 hours there. It's probably about the max amount of time.
About
you really
$300 to
need.
$400 there.
Oh yeah. So I brought 200. I spent all but 20.
I took 100 that day.
Yeah.
And I spent it all.
Yeah. But it's a fun little romp, especially if you're a horror guy like me. Like I said, the some of the Comic-Con stuff is really not for me.
It's too big, I think.
It's too big.
Like even Walking Dead, you're not gonna get around any of those people. You're not.
Especially
You're not.
especially like with the panels and the stuff like that. You're gonna be spending most of your time waiting for that.
What are some of the other things like Breaking Bad? Right, those guys would do panels. Game of Thrones. You're not touching
Comic-Con
any of those.
has
people.
been
It's like a TV.
It's grown
thing
to more than just like nerdy comic book stuff. It's become
not
like a
anymore.
facet of the entertainment industry now that
Yes.
you go to
Star Wars, anything
to get a
shows
peek
up,
of the new
on
stuff or
Comic-Con.
whatever.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
to be honest with you, I don't like being put into 2-hour-long waits for things.
Dexter's probably Comic-Con.
That I like to peruse. I like to take my time. These smaller cons might be more my thing, but who knows? We'll probably go to some more
Scarefest
different ones and bigger ones. So we got Scarefest.
Scarefest is down in Kentucky.
Yeah.
The Monroeville one, the Night of the Living
with the
Dead.
Night of the Living Dead panel. We might
And
go
then
up to that one.
you said Horror Hound comes to Indianapolis, but I think someone else.
I think it also goes to Columbus, maybe.
And then, so anyway, I don't know if I want to spend the dough, but Bruce Campbell's going to be at this September remix of Horror Hound. So all in all, I did tell you, Jess, and I, we had a good time.
It was a good time.
And I just wanted to say in closing,
Don't waste your money on the food. Concessions are not very good, and they're overpriced.
And don't waste your money on a bag of pills, Vicodins, uppers, downers.
Berkey.
It's a good hobby to have. Don't let anybody call you a fruit, a weirdo, a loser.
Exactly.
Trust me.
Yeah, and
Just don't be obsessive about it.
exactly. And everybody there is pretty chill and pretty cool. But if you have the time,
It's the best way to meet people on screen. No veneer.
Yeah, late March, late September here in the Necropolis. Shout out to Horror Hound at the Sharonville Convention Center.
Yeah.
You have anything else to add, PBK?
No, just Gornick at
Gornick.
Look at your friend request list. It's been a week already.
But yeah,
Come on, Gornick.
thanks again for listening to
Into the Night
podcast. I have been DJ Villain.
And I've been PBK, a.k.a. Ray Wise from Swamp Thing, Dr. Alec Holland.
And thanks again for listening to us. And we'll see you again next time here in the Necropolis.
Wait.
Shout out to Boy Harsher. We'll be doing the runner.
We're going to be doing the runner. It's a good one. Look out for it. Shout out to Shutter.
Shout out to JB.
Shout out to Boy Harsher.
Shout out to $150 PS2 controller.
Shout out to I got somebody hacking my PlayStation and I broke my controller. Hey man, you need more hours? Nah, I ain't got the time.
Hey, I'm running over to UDF. Y'all need anything? No, we can give you more hours though. I heard they have more hours at UDF. Nah, I'm good.